Such an honour to have you both here with us for the London Film Festival. Maybe you could just start with a really brief introduction. What can audiences expect when they watch Allelujah?
I hope they'll be moved by it. I hope it'll make them laugh. I hope it'll remind them that old people need looking after and not just disposed as redundant. And I hope it'll make them think of how we look after, I think, our greatest institution, the National Health Service.
It was originally a play. Were you already familiar with the play? And why do you think now is such an important time to adapt it for the screen?
Well, now is the time that we're aware so much of the work that the NHS do and have done. You know, we were out clapping on the streets every week during COVID, because I think suddenly people realised how important their job is and what a debt we owe them. And as Richard said, just to look after people who are incapable of looking after themselves.
And you've assembled such a wonderful cast. Jennifer Saunders, I mean, we've grown up watching both of you on our screens. What was it like putting these people together on your set?
There was no problem at all. I'd worked with, I think, everybody, almost everybody, all the actors who were in the film, and I'd worked with a lot of the crew. There weren't any embarrassing introductions. I shouldn't say it was fun, because it's a serious subject, but it was fun.
Yes, it was. And of course, you know, so much humour in it, you know, despite its heavy subject matter. What was it like for you working alongside people like Jennifer?
Well, it was, you know, you were amongst a lot of friends that you knew. And some people like David Bradley, who I haven't seen for years, is a Yorkshireman. And so we got together and sorted Yorkshire out. But it was just, you know, it makes it easier. If you do know other actors and you do have you've had a working relationship, it makes it easier. It takes off that bit at the beginning when you're embarrassed and shy and don't know quite what to do.
What do you hope the impact of the film will be? I mean, I guess, like you say, after the pandemic, understanding the necessity of having our NHS, but also looking after the older people in our lives.
Yeah,
it's exactly
I think that's exactly it. To think hard about how we look after people, old people, and people who are retired, and how we look after the National Health Service and all the care services. It's important, and it's at least 20% of the population.
Well, partly it was Richard directing it. We worked together a lot. And also Alan Bennett's story is very pertinent and important story to tell. It's something that we should be aware of, as Richard has said. You know, it is looking after old people in the community, and not just, you know, putting people on one side, but actually caring for them and looking after them, said she, a very old person.
Because it's about a very rare subject, which is about old people, how we look after old people, how we approach old people, and what services, medical services, the National Health Service and care services are there from. It's also just simply a story about human beings, how human beings manage together or fail to manage together. So all those things, plus it was Alan Bennett, who is a very old friend and a writer I admire enormously, and the opportunity to work with some really fabulous actors. I think the last time I was here, about 5 years ago, yeah.
Yes, I was here last year with Belfast, and we were all kept in our place by Judi Dench, aged, I think, 11.
Two reasons. One, because it's about care of the old. It's about what we do with old people and what we do with the NHS. I mean, we know we value them, we know they're indispensable. And they showed this time after time after time during the COVID period. But I hope they both see the film.
Yes.
And I hope they both take it to heart, in particular the Prime Minister, who I think doesn't have a passion for the National Health Service.
Yes, I think that's absolutely, that speaks for me too.